Hi there, Phil with Phil Effects. Going to pick up where we left off from the last tutorial, and we had just finished successfully putting our circular pipe face onto our iPod Nano body, and we have a nice set of meshes that are edge loops that come in, and they come up perfectly, and they perfectly fit with our circular face that we're going to have. And so now we need to build this out so we can finish this up. And so the best way to do this is we just want to build something straight across. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go in edge mode, and let me get my modeling tools up here, and we're going to want to use the bridge command. And so I can click here and click here, and before I go in and use that bridge command, actually I want to come up to mesh tools, and I want to double check and make sure that my settings on my bridge are the way I want it. And in particular, I want to make sure that my divisions are set to 0, and they are. So I can close this. I've selected this edge and that edge, and I can just go over here and click bridge. All right, and then I can click here, and hit bridge. Click here, and hit bridge. Here and here, hit bridge. Click here and here, hit bridge. This one and this one, bridge it across. Now these last ones, you might think what I want to do is, well, I'll click here and click here and hit bridge, and now I have a triangle here. It's actually what I don't want to do. So let me undo that, because it turns out when you have a 5-sided polygon, if you can symmetrically split that 5-sided polygon, you'll end up with quads on both sides. And if you think about it, if I came down straight down here with an edge loop, which we are going to do, and split this straight down, if I left this open, or if I fill this in, then this side here is going to be a polygon with 1, 2, 3, 4, and over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll have quads up here and I'll have quads down there, which is exactly what I want. So here I don't want to bridge. I want to double click here, and it might be tough to see, but I've selected this edge loop that goes all the way around, and I want to go up to mesh, and I want to use the fill hole command. So I'll fill that hole. I'll double click here, and because I'll have it selected, and because my last command was fill hole, I can just type G, and that repeats it. And so now we can see that I have successfully filled this across. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to run this edge loop down and split this straight down and connect essentially this edge loop to this edge loop down here. And I can do that with this multi-cut. And so I click on the multi-cut tool, and I come up here and I click on my first point, and I can click that, and I can actually come straight down, and I can just click that, and it automatically comes in, and it just makes a straight cut, goes everything down. I hit return on my keyboard, and that closes it, and then go over here, hit select, and that closes the tool. And so now I have perfectly filled this hole in. I've done it with quads, and we can go in to object mode, and we can see that we have this hole filled in. I've got a nice surface. I can zoom in. You can see that my, again, because we did that conform tool, and we conformed that surface to the iPod Nano, this round conforms exactly to the shape. And we've got ourselves a very nice integration with very clean edge loops of a circular object onto a square face. And if I go in and I hit 3 to do some smoothing, we can see that we have a good start for what we want to have finished. Now you'll see this and you say, no, wait a minute, that's not round. Well, I know it's not round, but we can clean that up. The reason it's not round is we have some poles in here. And poles are where you have either more than 4 vertices or less than 4 vertices, or edge loops coming out of a point. So right here, you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a vertice. Right here, I have a vertice, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here I have a vertex and I have 1, 2, 3. So that's a pole and this is a pole. And this is what poles do. They don't pull straight, okay? They pull distorted. But we can fix this very simply. All we need to do is add some edge loops and we can clean that up. So I go in here and I go up to my mesh tools and I say insert edge loop. And I want to zoom in because I want some really good detail here on what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm going to insert an edge loop and I'm going to pull that right up to this edge here. All right, so that's my first edge loop. All right, I'm going to want to put in then another one and I'm going to pull that right up very close and pull another one. And so right now I've got the outside loop, inside loop. I want to actually pull one more. All right, so we have 4 in here. And you'll see what I'm going to do with this real quick. And I want to go down to the inside. And I want to do the same thing down here. So I want to put an edge loop in very close. Put another edge loop in very close. Put another one very close. And actually that's all I need. I have 1, 2, 3. Actually, let me go up here. I think I have one more than what I need. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have one more than what I need. So I'm going to double click on this edge. Let me go to edge. Select that whole edge loop. And remember, when we delete edge loops, we need to go in and delete the edge and the vertex. So I delete that edge and vertex. That gets rid of all of the trailing vertices. So now what I'm going to do here, you can see I've put these extra loops in there. And if we do a real quick smoothing, you can see what that did for me. All right, that put in a nice circular edge. See that? See how nice that worked out? All right, so I have a circular edge here, and it's just where I want it. And I have a nice circular edge here. It's just where I want it. The poles are outside of the circle. So here's my one pole, my other pole. And these are those poles that were on the inside. And so those aren't bothering us. Those are fine. Those aren't going to be a problem. We have this nice circle that goes all the way around, and we have a nice circle down here that goes all the way around. So what I want to do, though, because if I go in here and I go into object mode and let's smooth that, if we look at this, there's very little, if any, definition, right, of where that is. You can just maybe see that. I'm not sure how this is going to come out in the tutorial. You can see just a little bit of a hint there. But even though I don't have a good close-up photograph, I know for a fact that there's a definite gap in there on the real device, here and here, and you need to be able to see that. So what I did by going in and putting in those extra loops, I gave myself the ability so I can do an extrude and push a gap into there. And so what I'm going to do is let's zoom in, and I purposely made so I can go in and I'm going to select this face, hold down shift and double click this face. So if you hold down shift and you double click, you actually select all of the faces that are in a loop. And you can see that I've done that, all right? And so now I have all of those faces selected. So what I want to do is I want to do an extrude, all right? I'm going to extrude and I'm going to push this extrusion into the face, all right? So we go up here and I'm going to click on extrude. And at this point in time, I can either leave it in world or I can leave it in local. It doesn't matter for what I'm doing. But what I will do is I'm going to take, and we have this, and I'm going to push this down just a little bit because I want to put an edge very close to this top edge. So I push it down just a little bit, and now I want to extrude again. What this is doing is this is going to put an edge loop right inside this seam that I just pushed down. So I hit my G key. That's an extrude again. I'm going to push this down some more. And I want another edge loop in there, so I'm going to hit the G key again, and I'm going to push this down some more, and that's it. Now I'm going to drop the tool, and let's go back. Let's zoom out, okay? And let's take a quick look at what I did here. So if I take this and I smooth it, now look what I did. You can see that seam that I put in there, and I've got a very definite seam. And all I did was I did an extrusion and I pushed a channel into there. All right? And if I really zoom in here, you can see the channel that I pushed in. All right? So you can see that it pushes down in there. And if I go into edge mode, you can maybe see that a little bit better. But you can see there's these are the 3 edge loops that I created when I did my extrusion. This is the top surface. That's the first one I created right there. And then I hit G and I pushed it down. That's the second one I created. I hit G and I pushed it down again. And I went down here again, and that's the last one. All right? So we can see how that worked. Now I just need to do the same thing on my inside loop. Okay? So I go over here, go into face mode, and I want to get right in between these, right? So I select the first one, hold down my shift key, double click the second one, right? Go over here, zoom out just a little bit. I've got to turn this. This gets a little tricky. And I get my extrude. Now you want to be sure you're pushing it in the right way. Okay, so I want to use the Z-axis to push this in. Let me zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to click on my arrow and push that in just a little bit. I hit G. Push that down just a little bit more. I hit G again. Push that down just a little bit more. And now drop the tool. Perfect. So let's go into object mode. Take this thing. See that? And look at what we have. So now we have a very nice, I got a seam there that highlights my center button. I've got a seam that highlights the outside ring. All right. And we have successfully put, like I said before, a round peg into a square peg, so to speak. So I had my rectangular body but it has a curve on the face, and we succeeded in putting this circular face right into it. We have nice, clean, even edge loops all around. And if you want to look at this, you can think about it that we essentially have built quads in a system of quads. And the system of quads come down, and so here's one system of quads, and they come straight down. And these are all quads, these are all quads, these are all quads, 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 and these are quads here and quads here. Now we go one over, and I have quads that come down, and these are all quads. The quads come across, it comes across here, and then it goes up, right? These quads come down, they come across here, and then they go up. These quads come down here, come across here, and then they go up, and right across, these quads come across, they go straight across, then they go all the way around. So another way to maybe think about it is the way we built this up is we took our quads and we just slowly bent them around, and we bent them around with a shape that was exactly circular. So in doing so, this is how we were able to succeed in putting a circular polygonal shape onto our square surface. And hopefully in the future you can see how you can probably use this a lot, so you can successfully go in and essentially put circular shapes onto square faces and do it without using booleans. You can do it so you can create nice clean quads. It allows you to put on textures and really make a very good model with that. So this has been Phil with Phil Effects. Thanks a lot.